Hello everyone, my name is Natred. Welcome to another Natred review. This should be number 9. We're going to be watching an AMT guard first to 5 between Angus and Kail here. Kail is a fighter from the Tulsa area, lives a little ways outside of it. Angus is probably one of the better fighters we have at Park right now. We have Angus on the right in the light brown and black leggings. Beautiful face hidden slightly by my not so beautiful face. We got Kail on the left here, the blue shield. Looks like we have similar sword construction, similar sword length, and pretty similar sized punch shields. These are 24s, I believe, so let's go ahead and give it a watch.
We got Kail here on the left with the blue shield, Angus on the right with the
Turn past Nate down just a little bit more.
black shield. Amp guard rule set. First to 5. Double arm, 1 to Angus. First.
Angus just has so much mobility. His ability to... I guess this really isn't set up by mobility. Just the nice hands. He does have a lot of mobility, but I'm identifying the wrong thing here. So we have Kail beginning this exchange with not the highest of high crosses. Angus throws the natty high cross. Classic positioning. Looks like that's right into the top of the body, barely skipping by the face. And brings it back around for the elbow. At least a double arm, possibly kill on the first shot. And I think this all happens because of this overreaction from Kail here. So if we go back to kind of the beginning of this exchange, Kail throws this opening shot. And his shield's already moving across his body because he's going dark. But that may block his vision for a second from seeing that this high cross is coming. And you know, I like this idea. I think I like the idea of where he's going with his shield, but it definitely obviously needs to be a little bit higher here. You can see Angus is just standing up a little bit taller at this point. He's going to have a little more angle in those high quadrants. And then just kind of a slow reaction time on bringing that shield back over. Kail had told me that he was still pretty rusty at this point. Not gonna lie, been quite a while since he had fought, so this is one of those things that might get a little bit better. Your like quick reaction time as that rust falls off. But quick 1-point lead to Angus.
Oh, okay.
Looks like Kail here able to dark side back into the forearm at some point. Yeah, I guess he might have. I guess he might have touched Angus's elbow here. Yeah, and this definitely just looks like some rust from Kail's end because this is like this dark side again. It looks like it's just about 25% away from having like its optimal flight path. It's kind of too far forward. The tip of the sword's too far forward as he transitions under and goes back. Now, of course, there's a positive there. You could possibly pick up a leg on the way to throwing your dark side, but with how lowered this tip is here, how projected this tip is here, I guess I should say, it's very easy for Angus to kind of track this shot under, only as much as he needs to, but loses the arm in the process.
Okay, pick up the double M, 1-all.
Looks like Kail picks up the leg there.
It's a small arena. twice.
So this is a thing that
I know.
Angus has been working on for a little bit. So last week
They are, but
he like hit his switch. I think he hit this like half spin into comeback.
but
Here though, we're stuck in front of our opponent. Like I think if you're gonna do this, this step needs to be coming. Well, you need to probably be closer, and this step needs to be coming further across. Because Kail here has good shield movement. You know, he almost he's maybe tracking Angus's sword, but he might also be reading that the spin shot is coming. He almost gets drawn back out, stays at home, and then just picks up a quick couple of leg then butt. It looks like. And I think this is just a instance of like I think shots like this are really really cool. I don't know if they're going to be. Let me see if I can turn my light up a little bit. There we go. I don't know how optimal they're ever going to be. It's hard to ever call anything strictly good or bad when everything can kind of have its place. But this shot specifically, I think Angus is going to have to get a lot more reps in on. Yeah, you can just look at how awkward this looks in this way that like he catches himself. You know, this doesn't look like a
like
kick that's
twice.
been done 1,000 times. So it looks really
That's to
cool, and I'm
Kail,
hoping
one
that
Angus.
Angus can dial this in. I think that
Oh, is that a trade then? Yeah. We can look at it on the tape, but that's 1-all, right?
I kind of remember this now. So maybe there is some question on whether or not Angus's shot connected well. Throws. If that's the shot that
Twice.
oops. I'll have to pause it.
Is-
So this does not look like any kind of hit to me. It may have concussed right here where the hip is close to the shield, and thus the confusion. But then, yeah, Angus kind of bunny hops through. Looks like Kail picks up the leg here. And then if that was Angus's second shot that they were wanting me to take a look at, there's just no way to see. You can see Angus throwing again, but you can kind of maybe see the sword coming through behind the bag a little, but there's no way to really track this sword because of Angus's pouches. Funny story. Looks like there's some like rocks or spell balls in this pouch. Angus has been really hyped about making pouches for people lately. He made me a pouch. I just don't have a nice belt to put it on yet. But now this pouch is messing with our ability to review tape.
Like twice.
Such hubris.
Okay.
Is that
That's
hubris?
2 Kail, 1 Angus. Oh, is that a trade then? Yeah. We can look at it on the tape, but that's 1-all, right? Okay. 1-all.
Yep. Good to see Angus doing things like I know a critique I hear from better fighters often is they see people not setting up their shots. Now, obviously, there's ways to set up shots that involve throwing shots, like getting people used to patterns, throwing, baiting certain parts of your body, or feints, fakes. And it doesn't always have to be with your sword. Like this right here, this like sucking back footwork. I'm not sure what it's supposed to like what its stimuli or what it's supposed to make Kail do here. But I don't think Kail knows either. He wisely stays at home. You ever just get that feeling where you're like, well, I tried a thing and it didn't work, but I feel like I'm obligated to throw a shot. Pretty sure that's what this is. Again, Angus having that sick range of motion. Cranks the high cross into the dark side, into the money. Kind of goofy there. Yeah. One thing I've started to notice a little bit about Angus, I think he gets away with it because of how fast he is and how quick he can torque his body around defensively. But there's a lot of dwell time on like gap in this guard. Like right here, with this sword kind of fluttering back and forth. Somebody probably more mobile than me might be able to land a shot here on Angus's forward hip while this is happening. And then this pair of shots thrown out. Kind of surprised. Again, this might just be some rust, but... And it's always hard to tell exactly angles on tape, but... Kail might be out of range here, and he might just not be, like, processing fast enough to swing, but... regardless of what you're doing in your fighting, if you have a shield, it's probably good to keep it in front of you. Angus, fortunately, doesn't get punished, picks up the leg. Dead leg. Hand. Angus doing all sorts of body movement to kind of elicit some sort of response here. And creates this angle for the high cross. Yeah, little bump on the shield, doesn't get the hook that he wants, but you can see how hard he was trying to pull this. And also just kind of this natural motion a high cross pulls you into. Looks like this comes in and possibly impacts the shield arm or the chest. But, you know, imagine if, like, Kail had been fully on point here. Might be able... I'm not saying, like, you can magically hit Angus in the shield shoulder while this is going so fast, but having this guard be a little bit tighter, with the shield less planed towards Kail's left, more directly in front of him, having this hand a little bit closer to the shield to block off this angle. I think anytime you have somebody who's taller than you, just naturally, or because of their stance, or because you're legged, keeping that weapon, like, not quite vertical, almost kind of tilted in towards your head and nice and tight to your body to cut off that outside lane. Your limit on that is you don't want to get to the point where your chicken wing is sticking out. But, you know, if it's pretty easy to predict here that Angus is going to be throwing high shots because Kail is legged, and you want to start closing off little lanes. Oh yeah, Angus wasn't sure. He first asked me, how hard do you want me to fight? I was like, I don't know, just do you. And he's like, I don't know what shield I want to use. So this is our mid-bout transition. I think this is a 30-inch round shield, maybe 28. It's Angus's old back shield. Yeah, and Angus just, like, you know, obviously being a more mobile fighter than Kail here, able to capitalize on Kail's awkward dark side, and just moving in, making sure the shield stays out of the way, and driving in high crosses.
3-1 Angus, wheel in the high cross.
Now, there's definitely a big mobility and speed advantage between these two fighters. And, you know, just to be clear, I'm not saying this is entire... Yeah, just again, a little pry on that shield. Angus is fine anything that's working. Pry on the shield into high cross. Angus is definitely one of the better local fighters. He's won a couple of local tournaments here recently. Just got his first 3/5 Orders of the Warrior because of it. Yeah, picks up the trade there. And so he's obviously rock solid. So I didn't get a chance to fight Kail at all. I know that he's really out of whack, while Angus is one of the better fighters, pretty athletic, works on that, and is very, like, well oiled and lubricated right now, fighting a whole lot. So, but that's that. That should be episode number 9, and I appreciate you guys.